Hey guys, normally I wouldn't do this, but the more I keep digging into this, the more pissed is an understatement that I find myself in the state of being. And here's why. This is the rear differential to my Dodge Ram. Alright, this rear end originally, trying to remember, this rear end, alright, originally had the 392 gears from the factory and the stock LSD. Well, the clutch pack retaining clips failed in the original LSD. It was under warranty, and what caught my attention was we were changing the oil, and when the oil came out, it was like just liquid silver, and it was within the 30,000 mile intervals that it was supposed to be changed per maintenance schedule. So I called the dealership up. They told me to bring it in. They would probably rebuild it, full of metal, obviously. And so what they ended up doing was denying a warranty rebuild, and they basically just flushed the carrier and packed new fluid in it and sent me on my way. Pissed that I contacted Chrysler about it. And even though there was wear in the bearing caps that you could visibly see, they stuck to their guns and said the unit was functioning properly. And my complaint was, well, if the transmission was full of metal shavings, would you just flush it out and send your customer on the way? So, worried that it was going to give me problems later down the road, I bought an Auburn LSD Motive 456 gears because I was running big rims and tires afterwards, and a Motive master bearing kit. I had a mechanic at the Dodge dealership put all this in. The Dodge Chrysler dealership, Albany, Georgia, Carl Gregory, 229-883-1700, okay? So, what I have found out, well, let me back up. Put it in, the gears always wind. I took it back several times and said, hey, I'm not an idiot, I know they're not supposed to wind. And the mechanic said, well, we set it up per manufacturer specifications. Well, these aren't manufacturer gears. They're Motive gears. They're not 392s that came with the truck. They're 456s. So I said, did you check your pinion depth? Did you go and shim everything correctly? He said, yeah, we set it up, how it's supposed to be. I always had an original fear that they either A, never used a new crush sleeve, or, just said they did something and they didn't. Because we know how dealers are, right? So couple thousand miles ago, was taking my brother-in-law home, and the rear end jumped and skipped, and I was like, well, that's not right. But it didn't do it again, and I said, well, I'll keep an eye on it. All right, and I always check my oil level, never a problem, never a leak. And so about a week after that, the wife and I were going to church one morning, and we pulled out the driveway, got half a block, and it jumped real bad. And I said, all right, let me back up, go home. We'll just have to skip church. Oh, God forgive me. And so I took it home, tore the rear end. Well, I didn't tear the rear end apart. I took the cover housing off. And shit, there were like 5 of the ring gear bolts out of 12 missing and gone. He did not use Loctite on the ring gear bolts, and they backed themselves out enough so that when the carrier was rotating, it basically sheared the heads off. So pissed that I replaced all of them at about $9 a piece from the dealer, because I needed them as soon as possible, and they could get them to me the next day, or else I would have ordered them elsewhere. So I went back in, flushed the unit, new oil, put red Loctite on everything, bolted it, and torqued everything down. Well, about a week ago, I noticed that the pinion seal was leaking, okay, which is where we're at now. And the other day, it got real bad, to the point where I parked the truck and had someone bring me some oil. And I filled it up with oil, and then I took it home, which is where I'm at now, okay? I'm gonna show you guys something. This is after me degreasing my rear end, because there's just so much oil. I mean, this isn't even good light. I mean, the entire rear of this truck, I'm gonna have to degrease really good with a pressure washer and everything else. Okay, now a couple of things here on this companion flange for the pinion. Let me show you these bolts. How much Loctite do you see on those bolts? Manufacturer specification calls for Loctite 242. There's no Loctite on these bolts. This is your Dodge dealership. Okay? How about this? How much play is supposed to be in that pinion gear? Not that goddamn much. If that ain't even bad enough, yeah, there's your crush sleeve that's probably been torqued down and then backed off and left play. Unless this is backed off, your pinion nut, if they didn't Loctite that. So, yeah. Thanks, Carl Gregory, Albany, Georgia, Dodge dealership. Really appreciate you guys fucking up $1,000 worth of hardware. But anyway, I'm gonna reshim the whole rear end tonight. I've got everything to do it with. I've got my pinion nuts. I got 2 of them just in case. I got my crush sleeves. I've got my oil, everything I need to do. But I just wanted to show you guys this video because I'm so pissed with the dealership. Because this is how they operate. So anyway, my rant for tonight. It's dark, it's cold, and it really sucks. So anyway, when I get done, it'll run like new, but it won't be thanks to a dealership. So,
message from
you guys have a
Jason
great night.
Hillsberger.